What's going on, everybody? MPG Poppy here. My real name is Sebastian. I'm the owner of one of the nation's largest powerlifting gyms, and I'm on a mission to mainstream powerlifting. Joining me today is our new co-host, Bill Coyne. I'm going to try and get Bill in here. There we go.
There we go.
What's up? So I titled this podcast, Is Powerlifting Dying for Clicks? But we're going to talk about the current landscape of powerlifting. And also the last time we talked, you asked me if I had $1 million, what I would do. And I think it's good we just talk about I have a better answer, I think, now than I did before. But how you been?
Good. Fresh off a silver medal performance at Bench Nationals. I beat Mike Zawalinski in his comeback meet, which was very satisfying because his main goal was to beat me, and I couldn't let that happen. So
We love to hear that. I actually talked with Mike for about an hour and a half as he was driving to Vegas. So that was we had a good chat, and I'm a little bullish now on powerlifting America after that conversation. It takes a lot to get me on the good side, but I think there's some things that are finally moving in the right direction. So I'm excited for as the organization as about as good as a political organization can be. I don't blame these people. I don't credit these people. It's a very difficult. It's not just like my business where I get to just wake up and decide what to do. Like you have to make a consensus. Like I said, you got to get people to agree to do stuff, and that's really hard. Something I really don't have a ton of experience with, honestly. I mean, my business partners we've been really successful, so there hasn't been a reason for them to really interject. But I've always seen that as the fatal flaw. I don't know how you feel.
partnership is a sinking ship, so it's always good to have one person at the top calling the shots. But
that's so funny. That was part of the conversation. I'm not going to get into it too much, but it's like, I'm like, someone's got to be in charge. For good or for worse, someone's got to be in charge. Like, it doesn't. I think it's better to have a bad person in charge than a bunch of good people. That's how I feel.
Sebastian, what I'm hearing you say is we need to abolish democracy. Is what I'm really hearing from you.
Oh God, we've never been a democracy. We've never had a democracy. It's never been a democracy.
Before we get into that, so. If you can, maybe this will play into the conversation in that you had with Zawalinski. But is powerlifting dying? Let's just dive right into that.
Oh, so yeah, it's so interesting. So I had another conversation with another pretty prominent powerlifter, and he managed to say on his story, he said, powerlifting is the best it's ever been by every available metric. And I go, what are the metrics? Like, because I want to make sure we're on the same page, like what metrics are you talking about, and then we can have a conversation, right? So it's like, what metrics are you talking about? And he mentioned totals, live views, and money for winning. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So totals, I think, is indisputable. Totals are the best they've ever been. I don't think that's the talent. Raw talent is great. The talent is great. I don't dispute that at all. I don't necessarily know if that matters. And those aren't the metrics I look at. I don't really. I mean, it may be a metric I should care about. It's not a metric I don't really look at. If guys are performing at record clips, that's great. Typically I think about it like offenses and defenses in the NFL. Like the offense gets better and better and better, and then there's some innovation on defense, and it like peaks and valleys. I think it's the same thing. We've hit sort of a renaissance because a bunch of new people got in. When more people are in a particular field, the geniuses and the outliers come to the forefront, and they develop new programs and new systems. And now the powerlifting's kind of on the downswing. I don't necessarily see if. Sorry. Not that we're on the downswing. When the population drops, there's less geniuses coming into the field, so training methodologies kind of stutter a little, and then eventually it blows up again, and then so we're in a great place. Like the people who came in during the boom are super smart. They're coming up with new training systems. People are SBDing 6 days a week. There's all these different things. So I don't think that's disputable. Now, does it matter is the question. And I mean, I didn't really even think about it enough to talk about it.
So the question is, does it matter? Do the numbers being higher than ever really matter? I mean, part of that is people love seeing records, and that's a big part of the sport. It's all numbers based, so it makes it easy to chase. It makes it easy to compare too, because it's pretty straightforward. Like it in some ways I don't know if that's maybe a good thing for the sport because it's less open to debate. For example, like, okay, who's the best NFL defense? Was it the 2000 Ravens or the 85 Bears, right? And okay, you can throw a lot of statistics behind it, but it doesn't make for as good of a conversation maybe as at least the numbers of powerlifting versus another sport. I mean, that's where a lot of the, like we talked about, this is where making it a team and making it more like focusing more on the competition is like something that's going to make it more
Yeah,
interesting,
yeah. I
more
mean,
viewer friendly.
that's kind of where I landed. I'm like, I don't necessarily care what you lifted. It's
Yeah.
about what you did on the day. And listen, you
Mhm.
cannot compare lifters from this generation to lifters 40 years ago because the population was what? The world population was a third of what it is now. There's just less distribution of people, which means there's going to be fewer outliers. So of course there's going to be more genetic anomalies because there's more opportunities for there to be genetic anomalies. So
Mhm.
like you can't compare totals now from totals then because literally like the next generation of humans just by biology will be stronger, faster, by natural selection will be better. So like you can't use totals as a way to unless I mean you could do data. You could say, oh, totals are growing at a higher clip than they've ever grown before by this percentage. You could say that.
Mhm.
Um, but like I don't I see that that's a great metric if your sport is about records, which it is, talk about Sheffield, that's all about records, right?
Right. Mhm.
Um, but I mean, I can't. I'm trying to think of a sport where people show up to watch records get broken. Like, what's the sport where people show up just to watch that? Um,
None really. And I'm trying to think of too where else. Like there are, like you said, Sheffield, and then going back even into the '80s. Like we had talked about a long time ago, there was the Budweiser Record Breakers meet, which used to be held for a while out in Hawaii. Like that was the whole point of the. This has been. It's kind of ingrained into the sport, which is something that makes it unique. Is that is a huge part of it is going for the records. It's not just the titles.
no, but no, I think that's a part of every sport. I don't disagree that. Like, I love, like, I mean, when like Drew Brees and Tom Brady were breaking the records. I mean, Miles Garrett with the sack record this year.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think records should be diminished, but it's not a main part of the sport. It's an ancillary storyline. It's something for us to talk about. So when he said total, that's why I mean, listen, I'm biased. I don't think I think it matters, but I think it doesn't. Like it's maybe
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
KPI. It's not the KPI. It's the KPI. But
Maybe and part of the reason that, like you said, maybe it's so much part of the discussion, at least the world records, is because I mean, right now that's where the money is. Like you don't win anything for winning championships. You don't win anything for an IPF, or you don't win anything for the World Games, right? I mean, that's as close as the Olympics in the sport that we have. And the athletes who medal there, they get nothing. They get nothing for it. You get a nice medal and you get a nice
yeah,
trip. Like so, it's the meet experience is supposed to be the best that there is, but it's like that's something that needs to change, right? It's like give it put more incentive on, maybe just put more incentive on winning the championships, winning the titles over the records.
yeah. I mean, I don't know where that money is going to come from. Like they already charge $450 for athletes to go to Worlds, and it's still a struggle. Like I don't know where the money is going to come from to do that. I'm not blaming the IPF. I mean, I am, but like the IPF, the IPF's kind of handcuffed. Like there's not like there's unless you're like I mean I think a pay per view route would really help. I mean
Mhm.
I struggle to like think that you don't want to spend like $10. Like you can't charge people $10. I mean it's going to make the sport better. The people who are watching it live like aren't going to not watch it live because they had to pay $10. Like, I just don't think that's enough. Like, okay, pick a number, $1. Like start at $1, and then every year add $1 until you make less money. That's always been I mean, when you have a sport where advertisers aren't really going to jump in because you don't have the viewership, then you got to do a pay-per-view. I don't like USA weightlifting does it, works just fine for them.
Yeah. I mean, abs is the proof of concept in powerlifting, right? I don't know what their numbers are, but they seem to be doing pretty well with that model.
Well, it's because I invented it. I literally did. I'm on a phone call with Jay, and I'm like, you know what you should do? You should just charge $10 a month for your subscription. And I'm so impressed. 2 weeks later, it was like live. Like, it was just like they just did it. And I mean, that goes back to the earlier point of committees versus these things. Yeah. So yeah, I mean actually that was a topic on Zelowinski. I was like, because the spoiler alert, SPD won't be doing the stream. So it's going to be different people. It's going to be we don't know who it is yet, actually. I think there's an assumption it's going to be Top Set. But yeah, there's an assumption. I would say 90. If you're poly marketing this, 99%, it's probably going to be Marshall and them, and that's fine. That's gonna and that's fine. Anything's better than the other status. I'm sorry, like the SPD stream was like just a nightmare. Like they were restricting the music that could be played in the venue. Like it was just it was very vanilla. I assume there's going to be more options for different things now. It's a step up for sure. Now, I think they should sell the rights. They got to be. 40,000 people are watching this. I'm sorry, if there are 40,000 total views, like they're averaging enough viewership where I think someone would buy it. Or at least explore at least put it out, hire some consultants and put it out to market and see what is the threshold you need to reach to get the viewership? Like, what are the numbers? Like, can we advertise and can we direct more traffic to the stream, and then we can sell that. I mean, this is where my business. There's no modern business people in powerlifting America. There are people who own businesses, but they developed those businesses 20, 30 years ago. They didn't need to get the scar tissue of a modern function. So yeah, there's definitely different options as far as the strip. $10. $10. If it doesn't work, you just go back to how it was before. You're not hurting anyone. Just make sure the money goes to a good place. I don't know. I can't force people to make good decisions.
No. But again, it's one of the $10 doesn't seem like asking too much. Or even again, like just to test, just as a test run, do $1.
$1.
Do $1. Some nominal
So
fee.
the services typically take $2 to $3 per subscriber. So it's a lot of data. They store a lot of data. That's a lot of data, actually. And YouTube takes like 30%. If you wanted to do it on YouTube, which you could, YouTube has a subscription option thing now, which is probably the direction I'll go, just because YouTube has all the workflows. But that's how I would do it, and then I would just make sure like it's easy to cancel, and then make sure like there's more content throughout the year so people don't cancel. I think if you're a PA member, you should get it for free. I think that's easy. You're a PA member, you get it for free, and then if you're not a PA member, you're not supporting the organization anyway. So fuck you. Like, how was it that hard? Like, I don't think that's a bad trade. You're a member, you get it for free, and then it'll encourage people to maybe be PA members. And then if you're not a PA member, you're not supporting us, so pay the money. It's why I've tried to get on the board a couple times, just to have this conversation, just to make people maybe feel stupid, just to be like, hey, like, you see, like, why aren't we doing like the youth thing? USAPL's doing this. Why are we doing this? Like, don't we hate them? Like,
we can be better than them. Yes.
Yeah, like they're better than us. Yeah, no, that's the way, because like there's a lot of bad blood, so it's easy to be like, well, they're doing it, right? It's there's a interview Tom Cruise does, and it's like about COVID, and he tells the story about how he called the studio and said, hey, like another studio, he's like, hey, are you making movies? And they're like, no, we're not making movies. And Tom goes, well, we're making movies. And then the other studios like starts making movies, and then he goes to his studio like, well, they're making movies, and he basically got Hollywood. I mean, of course, no better person to single-handedly make Hollywood reopen, but he just pitted them against each other. Like, it's all about competition. I mean, who knows if the UFC hadn't, would the NFL have played that season that year? I mean, who knows? But yeah, back to the streaming thing. I think that's something that's just a very unexplored territory. I don't think it moves the needle a lot because it's 1 week. I mean, no one's watching the other like. But again, it's only grandma and grandpa watching this. You're telling me you don't want to try and they're gonna pay the $10. Grandma and grandpa are gonna pay to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why not? Why not milk that? I mean, I just if you're not doing ads, like how are you? Why are you not monetizing this? I just don't. Especially when like if you're Powerlifting America, you have a monopoly right now. Like no one else is going to any other Fed. Like seriously, in a serious way. So it's like I don't see why you wouldn't try and milk it a little more. I guess I used the monopoly word. It's not a like it's a monopoly because other people aren't trying. Like it's like if I bought all the properties because no one else was playing against me. Like that's what it is. It's like no one else is like you can't have them in like what is there a word term for that? Like there, I know there's a natural monopoly, which is like utilities, but it's not a natural monopoly.
It's not a monopoly. I mean, it's just they have a pretty clear competitive advantage by virtue of the fact they're aligned with the IPF. But I don't know if I mean it's not a monopoly.
Everyone hates the IPF. How is that competitive? Like
Nah,
everyone else just sucks.
People say that, yeah, but people hate Roger Goodell too, and they still watch the NFL. So that's.
You know what? That's really interesting. I mean, I think they didn't. What was the con? It was Deflategate that made him. What made him the villain?
I feel like there's been a handful. That's a really good question. I feel like there's been a handful of instances. I haven't really.
I feel like he's extremely popular right now.
Maybe he is now. I don't.
I agree with you.
Tabs on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like Gary Bettman gets booed when he brings out the Stanley Cup.
That's become tradition. You just boo Gary Bettman. I don't know if anybody actually hates Gary Bettman. Yeah. I think it's just here's part of it too. And this is kind of going back to what you brought up earlier. You need somebody at the top that's willing to like willing to eat some shit if they need to. And that's a great example of somebody that does. Right. Because every single time he walks out there and the boos come down, he has a giant smile on his face.
Yeah, he's making $25-30 million a year. Like he don't care. Like Roger Goodell was making what 80 at one point because the NFL kept going like this, and his compensation was based on that. They had to restructure things because they're like, "Whoa, you're making $100 million."
You're a nonprofit, you say? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So that's really interesting. Because like if a regular business doesn't make a profit because they're distributing all their assets. I mean, the NFL was fine as a nonprofit because they were distributing all the assets to the teams, and then the teams would pay taxes. There really wasn't a strategic advantage for that. It ended up just being it wasn't a strategic advantage, so they weren't going to change it because there was all this paperwork to change it, and then it got to be a bad PR situation, so they did end up switching.
Yeah. Well, when it started, it was. So it wasn't a 501c3; it was a 501c6, which is a different kind of nonprofit.
It's like a trade. It's a trade. It's like trade organizations. Yeah.
Yes. So the NBA is the only one out of the big four that's never been a nonprofit. So right from the start, it was a corporation. But the other ones, it makes sense because you're essentially putting a lot of liability on the franchises. It's not on the league, right? And then the league is just there to benefit.
Well, the league's the traffic cop. So like it didn't make sense for the teams were making all the money anyway. It wasn't nefarious really at all. It was just
no.
It was just the league office wasn't making money because they were distributing it all, and I think they just thought that was the best way to designate things. I don't know. So one interesting thing that nonprofits can do that's the main thing I look at is they can do like raffles and they can do like lots of charitable stuff, which is like something Powerlifting America I've talked about they need to be doing because it's free. But like maybe those were some of the things they were taking advantage of. But you can do raffles on behalf of charities anyway. But they weren't a 501c3, so they couldn't do that anyway. I'd have to look into that more, but I don't think that matters. I'm sorry. Let's circle back. Let's circle back to this hop, which is the metrics he was talking about. So we were talking about totals, and the other two he mentioned were live views and money for winning. Now, live views, I would have to tabulate that. So there is data that Sheffield viewership is growing steadily year after year. But my counter argument is no one is watching USAPL Raw Nationals anymore. So,
oh, I see. Are you really capturing a new audience? Yes.
Like it gross views does really matter when you're talking about an increase of them. Like when you're talking about going from one event like here, I mean, like let's pull up let's go to our data. Let's do USAPL Raw Nats. Let's go 2023. And we'll just pull up the top one by views. Prioritize relevance, popularity. This was like the last good one. This is when Perk was there. The most watched had 27,000 views in 2023. Let's do 2024. 2024 had about a third of the views. 9,000 was the most viewed one. I see 14,000 was the most. So, and then 2025, I assume. I mean, no one did it this year. And they had stream issues. 7,000 was the most of day 3. Oh, you had Jaden. That was the Jaden Low day. Yeah, all around the same. And these streams some of these were really long. Like these were, oh no, they were no average length. But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying fewer people were watching. I mean, relative to the future. And then you have Sheffield, which constantly had the total views. So Sheffield 2025 has 411,000 views. Let's go 2024. 2024 has 383,000. And remember, these are every 30 seconds. So every time repeat watches count multiple times. So this isn't, but there is a chart somewhere that has the average view time, and that has grown. So, I mean, if you want to use that one meet as the metric, sure, the views have gone. But I dispute that. I think there are fewer competitions. There's no like Virginia Pros anymore. There's no there's no Arnold. Like there aren't a lot of alternate meets. There's like the Evankus and the like as the meets SPD throws, but there really isn't anything. Like I would argue it's probably a wash. Is probably my thing. It's like at best it's neutral. But the thing he threw out, which is kind of easy to dispute, is money for winning. Now, that's interesting because technically money for winning hasn't changed. The money for winning Sheffield has been £25,000 for 4 years. Like it's been the same number. So it's like that number, I guess, is as high as it's ever been because it's been the same. So
there's other opportunities, right? You have Austin, you have your meet, you've got, if you want to go even broader and look at the untested landscape, there's a lot more.
Here's where I'm getting to. The USAPL used to give away about $250,000 a year to try and compete. That's gone now. So prize money is not at an all-time high. It can't be because they were giving out $250,000 on top of Sheffield. So like cumulative, and remember, Sheffield prize money has gone down every year because as people break more records, the records become less attainable, so the payouts become less and less and less. So that it by nature it which is kind of that's a great business strategy. Like your expenses naturally curve downward. Like I really like that. So like I've actually explored doing things like that for the team stuff, like setting a team parameter, and if someone breaks the team thing, they get prize money, so I can inflate what my prize money looks like. like there's interesting things there, but yeah, prize money is not at an all time high. It was an all time high in 2023 when they were giving away $250,000, and Sheffield was giving away $250,000. That was the peak. So like those metrics have not gone up, and then participation is really cratered. Like participation is down. We talked about significantly. So yeah, I mean, it's really, I don't want to just keep bragging on like what's bad about, but like how do we fix this, right? Like what's I think that's why I wanted to segue into what the current landscape of powerlifting is like. What can we expect in 2026? I think is the next interesting question. So next we got Sheffield coming up. We'll probably do a full preview show because
we'll save that for next week. Yeah,
yeah. Next, it's already. Is it already? Yeah, it's next week.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Next weekend.
Oh my gosh. Holy cow. Time flies when nothing's happening. Okay, so thankfully this year it's not the same week as the NFC and AFC. It's not the same day as the NFC and AFC championship. That's kind of, you don't really want to compete with the top dog in the world in sports. So and actually this is kind of the perfect weekend. There's literally nothing happening in sports this weekend. Oh, UFC.
Yeah.
UFC's this week and next week.
Oh, wait, hold up. So, NFC, AFC championships this weekend, right?
Yes, Sheffield is next weekend.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm just about the same. Okay,
yeah. 1 year it was the same week. It was a Saturday before the Super Bowl. Yeah,
that'd be sad.
So who knows? Maybe this will be the year it break. I think everyone watches every year like for something to break through. Like this will be the breakthrough. Like this year it'll be the breakthrough. Because I think people expect like Jesus to come back and do what he did again. Oh, Jesus isn't even competing,
but he's not.
So
like,
yeah, because they invited Gustav Hedlund instead of Jesus.
Sure.
Wow.
Why
not? The third best 93, or probably not even the third best because to come all of the 93s, or the greatest, arguably the greatest powerlifter of all time. Most watchable powerlifter for sure. Is there any more watchable than Jesus? Even any of those?
There's a lot of people more watchable. Absolutely.
More watchable. Okay, you know better than I do. Who's more watchable?
Chuck Vogelpohl. Chuck Vogelpohl, 100%.
Is he equipped? Is this an equipped thing?
Fucking right, he is.
Oh my gosh, we're so cooked. In my opinion, he is the Caitlin Clark of powerlifting. He transcends powerlifting. I don't know if it's because I'm also a big guy, but like 1,000 pounds squat, 600-pound bench, 900-pound deadlift. Like raw. In the moment, on the biggest stage powerlifting's ever seen, he pulls that out. Like I don't see anything. I don't know how you could make it better than that. Now the problem is you got to replicate that year over year. Like can't imagine what's going to happen this year that's going to match that.
Well, it goes back to talking about the records versus titles or versus like battles, right? I mean, the whole point. Sorry, I'm reading Lemieux's training systems. 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Chuck was around forever, man. But so it goes back to a lot of the media stuff. It's like you need to put together. You need to hype up some rivalries. You need some more human interest stuff.
They try, but they just don't. Like you have a lot of people who are not sports people doing this stuff, and so they don't really they don't do the right storylines. So like. For example, like your storylines typically have to be rooted like in reality, right? Because if it's not believable, like for example, the meet is based on who can break the world record by the most, right?
Right.
Who can win the meet? right? Last year, the guy who won the meet, nobody cared about because it was it was a blowout, and he's like an obscure Norwegian who cut down a weight class, who was also a wild card, who didn't even win Worlds. And I thought if they were smart, what you do is you make him the villain, right? You go, this guy should not even have been here. He didn't win Worlds. He got lucky. He got a wild card, and now he's cutting down a weight class. And then what I would have done, that's what I would have done if I were like a promoter of this event. I would have made him the bad guy. And then you had Austin Perkins, Captain America, Team USA, and I would have made it. That would have been the matchup. That's the poster, right? The poster is Austin Perkins, and the poster is Kel Backlund, and Kel looks like a goblin, so I would have made him. He looks like a goblin, so I would have had him. I would have found the most majestic picture of Perk, and I would have put those two up, and that's all I would have talked about. I would have talked about that matchup, and I would have built that matchup up and built it up and built it up and built up the hype. And then now, if the Goblin wins, which he did, and he won pretty handily, if he wins handily, he becomes the villain, right? And he becomes bad and booed and that's the thing. And then you have right, because you're a villain. You like the bad guy, that guy Jose, you like the bad guy. Yeah, like you have to create good stories, have antagonists. They just do. Like you need to create who is the villain in the story, who's the hero. I mean, that's what I would have concocted. I would have put together that story. I mean, you could have done the Russ, like Russ was really ended up being the storyline out of that because he redeemed himself, and the winner was such a bull. But no one even talked about the winner. It was like a guy who took second was the winner of a competition. The whole thing's jacked up. Like your whole system's really messed up. So yeah, I would have done that. That's what I would have done. And then on it was going to be such a blowout on the women's side. It would have been like, can Agatha be the greatest? Actually, we were talking about this on a podcast. I was like, what you need to do is you need to do something really controversial, and you need to say, not only is Agatha the best powerlifter of all, female powerlifter of all time, is she one of the best female athletes of all time? Like, is she better than Serena Williams? Like, and then people go, no, she's not. And then now you got him, right? Now you got him, right? You reeled him in, right? You said something insane. I said something insane. It's not true, but it gets people talking about it. And then, she's not as good as Serena for sure, but where else? Where else? Where does she fall? Right? Is she better than Caitlin Clark? Caitlin Clark hasn't won anything. She hasn't won any titles. She's got to be better than Caitlin Clark. Right? Mm-hmm. And then maybe you catch some shrapnel. Maybe you'd say, is Agatha more important to her sport than Caitlin Clark? And then maybe maybe your reel gets into the WNBA, and then people start talking about it. They go, who is this? What is this? And then now you've merged. You can use Caitlin Clark's fame to help bolster powerlifting. There are these things, as much as you think things happen organically, they don't. There are people whose literal jobs is to do this stuff. So, I think that's, really important. And, we're in the media now. Congratulations. Welcome to the media. We're media. That's our job to talk about these storylines. What's the story? I think the storyline, can Perk hold up under pressure? Can he actually perform when it matters most? He didn't perform last year at Sheffield. He did perform at Vegas when nothing was on the line. He performed at Worlds when no one is competing with him. Can he do it here?
Will he go to the right city?
No, that's Russ.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, that's what I'd be. Russ doesn't really matter in this. The 93s aren't going to win, so the 93s really don't matter. Russ really doesn't factor into this. I think it's more and this is where they get the narrative building wrong, is Battle of the 93s. There are no weight classes at Sheffield. You're trying to break the world record. So I think it's more so. I would talk more about the future in this context. I'd be like, can Ross total enough to stave off Will Ball, who's going to be coming to nationals and trying to beat his total there? that's the narrative I would be talking about. If I was like, if you really cared about powerlifting, you were really trying to like build something to talk about, I wouldn't even talk about this matchup because I don't think this matchup really is consequential. I think what the storyline is, can he build up enough? Can Russ build a big enough total here to stave off Will Ball at nationals? It's like, what is like, what's the that's what I would go. And then I haven't even looked at the women's side about the story, like what storylines I would use. But Agatha not being there, that's a huge storyline. Like, I don't know how that is not like that and like I think people are so afraid to talk about certain situations because it's like the IPF is like the mob, and so they don't want to talk about these situations. Like, if you're the IPF, like, you want to play up these controversies because it gets people talking about it. Like the whole what was the big controversy that just happened? The rule book changes.
Oh, the rules. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they got a bunch of free media, and then came in and be the hero. Like, those
everyone from every corner of the sport was talking.
Yeah, you shouldn't. Right, everyone from every corner was talking. That wasn't bad for the IPF at all. In fact, it like gave them a chance to do a little bit of a reform. Like, I really was like, I thought that was hilarious. And like, it's all good.
We've learned from this experience, right? And we've come out that yes.
Yeah, right. It's like, it's all good. Like everything ends up being good in the end. But yeah, like, I don't shy away from controversial stuff because it clearly works, and it's free views, it's free media. I mean, I couldn't swipe without seeing that for like, how do you regenerate that? I'm like, if I were the IPF, I'd be making bad rules like every week. I'd be putting that out every week. Like, how can I make a bad rule? And I think the reason it was so bad is the rules really weren't that bad. Like, people were like, I think some people were like, this isn't that big of a deal. Like, what are we talking about? And then some people were like, this is the biggest deal ever because people take things too personally. But yeah, it's super funny. So like, you know what goes viral. It's controversial stuff, right? It's hence why every clip I post is the most controversial thing I said on any given podcast. It's like, what gets the most clicks and views, and then maybe you get 10, 15 people to be more engaged. I mean, dude, I got people who aren't even in the sport who are like, dude, your content's like really funny. Like, you just like you killed that guy, and like, I gotta pay attention to powerlifting. So there is an opportunity there as far as that goes, but that's what we're not there yet. We'll get there. We'll have Stephen A. Smith talking about, or someone talking about powerlifting.
Well, we did have John Gruden talking about it.
Okay, yeah. You want to talk about this? You
talk about that. Okay. Well, you want to know why? Because the clip that's going around has my commentary on it. So.
Oh, yeah. You're like, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about all the things powerlifting needs. It needs people like him with personality. I mean, that was the most glowing review of powerlifting like I've ever heard. I don't even think of powerlifting that highly. Like, I can't believe how positive like the sport was received like by him. I mean, I think it's just because he's like, oh yeah, I love these hard-nosed sons of bitches. They're just lifting the weights. Like, and his son, and he's hyping up his son. I really want to know if he was just hyping up what his son was doing, or if he really feels that way. And it's like, I'd love to talk. I would eat my left arm to sit next to him at a competition and just be like, what do you think of this? Like, what is like? He was a commentator. He was on Monday Night Football. He did the commentary. Like, I really would just love. I'd love to talk to his son too. I'd love to like, is it just a hobby? I mean, is it just a hobby for him? Like, what does he see in this? I would love it. I mean, my team stuff. I'd love to talk to Deuce about that. Like,
let's get him on the pod.
God, that would be so awesome.
We can make that happen. We can make that happen.
Deuce
for sure. John, not so much. Well, here's the thing. Well, we got to keep an eye open for him because that whole session at Bench Nationals, I kept looking out in in the audience seeing if John was there, because if he was there, I was grabbing him and putting him on the live stream.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But that just goes again, like something we talked about, just more personality, right? Like more people that are going to hype it up like that. More
Okay,
people
so
that are going to have that kind of energy.
here's the problem. I've gotten in trouble, pseudo trouble, for things I've said on this very podcast. And so, like, I probably didn't get a political position because I said what I wanted to say on the podcast. So, like, it is like, because of the political nature of things, it is probably difficult to find. Controversy is what's entertaining. It is what people watch. And it's also what, like, people in power don't like to be criticized. So it's like it is a tougher kind of situation. Like, do you really think they want to deal with like me being obnoxious like on a live stream? Like, absolutely not. Like, so if someone is going to complain about somebody, because I'm a real critic. Like, I'm gonna be critical of the referees. Why did you? What I'm sitting 30 feet away, and I saw that wasn't depth. What did you see? And someone's gonna take that personally. And so it's like we're just not in a place where like we can even accept that, where people will even accept that. Like, if like when I'm in charge, if a referee came to me and said they were mean to me on the live stream, I'd be like, "You're fired." Like, okay, go work somewhere else. Go work somewhere else. I don't care. Like, dude, it's not you work for the organization. You work, like, it's your job to call balls and strikes. Like, if someone's critical of you, they're going to be critical of you, and whether it's valid or not, it's part of, like, it's my job to be a critic. Like, why did you go up 10 kilos when you barely made your last attempt? Like, and people take that personally. And it's like, it's also because this is a sport where people are paying to participate. So I don't think you should pay for people to criticize you. So, like, there's other elements. Like, if I'm paying you to come out, you're open to criticism. But yeah, I think that it's an example of people asking for things that the current situation isn't capable of delivering. Right? People want this to be a professional league, and it's just not. So, like, you're asking for something that you would love as a fan and I would love as a fan, but I just don't think we can deliver.
Not yet.
Not yet. No, probably not ever. Not ever. I can't imagine Ryan Labidak criticizing referees on an IPF Worlds live stream.
Because he's a spineless Canadian. But anyway.
That's getting clipped.
So there you go.
The shit out of that.
Go for it.
No, I just
that's
never.
Right. They'll be the 51st state anyway pretty soon, so that's all right.
After 52nd, Greenland.
52nd.
52nd. Yeah. So
how are we supposed to take a country seriously that calls its fucking money looties? I mean, come on now.
No, I didn't even know that. There was 15 other ways you could go with that, and you gave it the one I didn't know. But yeah, like, I just can't see a world where, like, they're okay with people being, one, the athletes are too sensitive. The athletes can't handle the criticism. That's one. And then, like, two, like, the officials and, like, the people who need to be criticized can't handle criticism. So it's like, where are you at? Like, you're just not in a place where you can be successful in that realm, because you just, like, you don't have someone who's strong enough to say you need to deal with the criticism. Like, it just isn't, like, people are just too sensitive by nature in this realm right now. So it's like, next, on to the next thing. And like I said, we'll get there, but it'll be in a different avenue. Like, it can't be in this. It can't be in this avenue. It was never going to be in this avenue. Even if powerlifting became super popular, you don't think, Fenway Sports Group and, like, all these huge private equity companies who invest in sports aren't going to start getting involved in powerlifting and going to transform it into something that, like what I propose. I'm the first person to propose this stuff. Like, I can't find anyone who's got any sort of, like, I've seen some people who have, like, the Grand Prix idea, like the American Pro. They have, like, Grand Prix type stuff, but that's not anything like a bona fide, like league and infrastructure. Like, I have yet to see really anything. I mean, there was the Pro Series, which I mean, you could still do an individual style thing like that. But finding a way to get multiple high-level competitions, like 10, 15 high-level competitions in a year put together. Yeah, I mean, I'm first. I'm gonna be what was before Uber. I'm gonna be the guy before Uber who didn't make it, but someone else will pull up this podcast and be like, like national treasure, like opening.
So now I think we're going in the direction of. So we talked a couple weeks ago, and you mentioned at the top of this podcast about if you had $1 million, what would you do
Yes.
with it? Yes.
Yeah, so I had a better. So I already have $1 million. Actually, I'm pretty well off. I do pretty well.
Okay. If you
So
had $100 in venture capital, let's be specific.
yeah, right.
Yes.
I would not spend 100. I would not liquidate my fucking gym. I would not liquidate my cash. I would not liquidate my stocks. Like because it's too much. It's too large a percentage of my net worth. If you gave me $1 million that I was going to spend on powerlifting, and you gave it to me in a safe like a safe is a simple agreement for future equity. So I gave someone $1 million of future equity to give me $1 million, and they got a discount or whatever. I just wasn't prepared because I've never thought about that number. The only numbers I've ever thought about were like a little bit of seed money or 10, $20 million. I've never thought about $1 million. So I was really struggling to like even think about. And so I had to think about it more because and the thing I would do is I would actually just spend it building infrastructure. I probably would spend it very slowly too because there isn't really. So I would start and I would make sure I would probably buy a used like box truck or semi truck, which I would finance, right? And so I would only have a couple $100 a month in payment. I would buy like 6 to 8 full platform sets that were easily transportable. I would contract a company that does live streaming, and I would try to find a middle ground type company that does broadcasts. And I would do every bit of like infrastructure building that I could to like try and like build something that could be sustainable. Because I went back and I thought about my meat business I have now. My meat business does very well. When the meats that make the most money are ones that have very small prize pools, enough to get people in the door. And then those people kind of bring other people with them, like the big local names. They bring other people with them. So what I would do is I would spend the money on small infrastructure, and I would get really really good at running meets. I would get really good people around. I'd pay them $30-$40 an hour, and that really and I would probably be profitable too in all that. I wouldn't even really dip into the million, like as much into the million, and then I would over time, once I figured out what works. So you got to like business is all about playing with things. If you saw the number of times I've changed things in my gym, you'd be disgusted. But like it's all about playing and trying to figure out what works. And I think that's what I would do. I would have a lot of money to backstop me trying different things. So I'd run lots and lots of meets. I'd get perfect at streaming. I'd get perfect at all these things. I'd find all the right talent to slot in. I really wouldn't do a ton of prize money. I would do smaller prizes. I would just play around. What's the right team size? What's the right, like all these different things I would play with. And I'd be able to do small seasons, and I'd be able to iterate, and I'd be able to get better faster. If I knew that money was backstopping me, I'd be able to do that and play around with it. I think I would very quickly figure out what the right formula was. And I would also start to gain some reputational credibility. Hey, his event, it would be like a circus is coming to town. Hey, this event is coming to town. He's going to have a really good time. He's going to have all these vendors. He's going to have all these food, this stuff. It's going to be a cool little thing. I got to make sure I go. I got to make sure I sign up. And I'd be charging lifters to come do this. I'd be paying out a little bit of prize money. I'd be charging lifters to do this. I'd probably be profitable at every event. I would just find what the right price point is. That's all I'd be doing. I'd be playing with all those numbers until I got it right. And I would own all that equipment. That equipment, I mean, while it depreciates, it does still hold value. So like the value of this company would be going up. I'd be able to put on the best production. I'd be able to like spend a lot of time finding the right venues. I think I would eventually get some sponsor traction. I think someone would eventually, we'd be getting so many lifters to come out to these events. I think eventually we would get some sponsorship traction. Um, and then as that grows and as you start to suck in lifters, eventually some of those people will ascend and rise to the top. And then like you once you got that running and you're running a business that's cash flowing and making money year after year, then you can start to take more risks. You can start to do more things with that money, and then eventually you're gonna, even if you get to the point where you're like a USAPL, you're making a couple $1,000,000 a year, you can put up that $500,000 prize pool for your championship, and then you start to charge for your live stream, and that's where the money starts to inflow, and that's kind of the ball game. And then once you're inflowing into the live stream, now all you need to do is promote your live stream, get people to watch, figure out how to make it more entertaining, and then just keep repeating the cycle. It becomes more entertaining, more people watch, more sponsors pay, more advertising money, and then now you have your, what's called a scalable business, because you put more money in and the money in the machine grows. Like, so I think that would, and then you're going to have bigger levers you can pull the bigger you are. So like the gambling lever is a huge lever. Once you're able to pull that lever, I think there's really no going back for powerlifting. Once you can bet on it, it becomes a real sport, right? Once you have a partnership with a major network, you really aren't going backwards, right? You've hit that you've broken through that glass ceiling. Basically, you broke through the glass ceiling of sports betting. You're not going back. You broke through the glass ceiling of being on ESPN, being on whatever streaming service. You're on Netflix. You broke through that glass ceiling. The sport is never going back. It's never getting relegated after that. It's always going to be at that quo until you break through the next ceiling. Basically, it's what the UFC did. The UFC started. It was only pay-per-view, and then it broke through on Fox Sports. And then ESPN was a huge breakthrough, and now $7 billion from Paramount. Like it broke through several different levels, and like you look at the numbers. I mean, it was like 100 million for that first TV deal. It was $1 billion from ESPN. Now it's $7 billion. Like they just kept kept going. They had a really good product, good innovators, good people. So I mean, I think I probably had a better answer now. You could pass that whole spiel on to your guy. There you go. It's already been recording.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I think, and like that money, that $1,000,000 talking about, could sit in an account and still be bearing interest, while we're using some of it. So, I mean, there's probably less potential for loss. Now I'm like, maybe I should do this. But like, yeah, I think that's kind of the way to do it. Obviously, the one issue for me that I talked about was I have a life and I have my business here that does really, really well. And so I could probably doing both is an option. And but like you really got to like if you have two businesses, you typically have none unless you're Elon Musk. Like you need to have your focus. And then if you don't have your focus, you typically have to have other people running it, and other people cost money. That's where the expense comes in. And that person wants a piece of the pie. And that person has to also be extremely talented. So yeah, that would be the answer to my question, what I would do. And then I would play with different format types. I would do I would do a head-to-head version. I would do a girls team versus a guys team. I would do a bunch of different. I think there's a bunch of different formats you can play with, see what resonates with people. I would do an all-star meet, which would be individual based, alongside the teams. There's quite a bit of options as far as this tip goes. But yeah, that's my answer. If I had $1 million, what I would do.
Mm-hmm. And is the team concept part of this? Or is it all just
yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Playing with is like, what is here's the difficult part, and what's difficult to figure out, and it's like, what amount of money attracts enough athletes to want to come out to do this that are of a high enough caliber that people want to watch, so they will pay for the stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what is that number? Or is the team from a particular city or a particular area, and people want to root for that team, city, area, gym because that team represents them? Mm-hmm. And so that's that next that's because that transcends the level of the athlete, right? It doesn't really matter who's on the Chicago Bears. If the Bears are winning and I'm a Bears fan, I'm going to watch, right? And then you start to get attached to those people along the way. But like, I mean, the Bears have like one superstar. It's Caleb Williams, and like obviously that's the most important superstar to have. But like everyone else on that team is kind of a nobody. And like it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, maybe it's because Caleb is such a superstar that everyone else doesn't matter. But like that's it. I can't think of one other
Yeah.
person who's like.
No,
Well,
I mean, well, it's like have you seen the have you seen the Jerry Seinfeld bit about this? No, where it's just like you're cheering for laundry. That's really what you're doing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
yeah. So like, I mean,
yeah,
this isn't a new phenomenon, but yeah,
yeah,
yeah, right. You're
yeah.
representing your city and your color. It's a tribal thing. I mean, we've
Yeah,
always known that that's what it is. Um, but yeah, it's an element we've really. I mean, we've really. Here's the other thing too. We haven't had international team competition. Like the U.S. has been blowing everyone out for since the Russians got kicked out.
yeah.
Like they haven't had, so we haven't even been able to experience this. Like one of the most entertaining things in sports this year was the Four Nations face-off. Like that was appointment television. Like that was everyone was tuning into that. Like
Yeah.
I was on every night. I was like, why don't they do this every year? I'm like, this is awesome. Like this was one of the coolest things. Like it was so entertaining. It was so high stakes for like they weren't getting paid. There was no money for anyone involved. It was just your country. Like you were playing for your country. Yeah. So um we haven't had good international team competition because there just hasn't. The U.S. is just too dominant, and so that's obviously a problem with the sport. If the sport has too much, it doesn't have any parity. Like it's a problem with the sport. So I mean, how do you? They tried to fix it, and the U.S. still kicks everyone's ass. So
What if you reduce the amount of weight classes?
uh, they need the volume of athletes to pay for the event. They can't reduce the number of athletes.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we've talked about USA versus the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, that would be too good. Okay, that'd be too entertaining. We couldn't have USA versus the world. It would actually work. Like, you
Yeah.
don't think every lifter would be signed up for that shit? You don't think everyone is putting on the fucking red, white, and blue
Mm-hmm.
and doing a Ryder Cup? Like, give me the 16 weight classes, 2 nights, men's night, women's night. Like, let's go lightweights. Sorry, let's not make it gendered. Lightweights, 4 lightweight women, 4 lightweight men's classes, and then on night 2, 4 weight, like 4 bags. Like you don't think everyone like I'm getting chills just think like that's the kind of stuff that like actually moves the sport forward. Like and it just it will never happen because someone in the IPF's feelings is going to get hurt. Like it just doesn't work. Like like I can't even explain why it wouldn't work, but like no, they're not gonna go for that. And I'm trying to like figure out why they wouldn't. It's just it's just what if the Europeans lose? What if the world loses? Then it's like it's just never going to happen because what if the world team loses? It just can't because like they hate the Americans. That's why it can't happen. Like Team USA versus the world can't happen because if somehow the U.S. won and the world team didn't win, it would just be like the imperialists. Oh my gosh! Like it's just no way. It's just exactly. I still think the U.S. is too dominant. I still think it's not going to be balanced enough. Um, Yeah, and you need the IPF to sign off on it because all these international athletes, they need the approval of both their Fed and the American Fed. We could get the sign off on, but we're not going to get the sign off of like all these international Feds. It would really have to be like it'd be a difficult thing to organize. The money's there. My bank account is open. If we're doing that, I got what? I got to give $2,000 an athlete. Texas versus the states.
Okay, yeah. That's
Texas would still win. I think Texas still
No,
wins.
I think it would still win.
I
Yeah.
think Texas still wins. Yeah. That's probably something that's more manageable. Texas versus
That would be much.
Texas takes all. Texas takes on all.
Logistically, that's much simpler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hate that it's logistically hard because like the theater's rented. The cheering, the fan sections are like ready to go. Like I think look at the Ryder Cup. Look at the how amped up the crowds are. Like you're really telling. Yeah. That would, you know, what would be interesting? That would be how I would score if I were them. If they wanted, because the USA is going to win Worlds no matter what. I would change the scoring based on like the NAPF.
And how does that work?
So like there's NAPF, North American Powerlifting Federation.
No,
Like,
no, no, I know
NAPF.
that, but what's the difference in the scoring?
No, because instead of scoring by country, you score by the European European Powerlifting Federation. They score, the scoring system stays the same, but you scored the top the top 5 placers by continent instead of country. Just change the score. The USA is going to win anyway.
You just open up the geography. I see what. Oh,
yes,
okay.
yeah. It's a perfect way for, because the US is going to win anyway. The US is a little more. The US is more open-minded. They would probably accept that because they don't. We're going to win anyway. So like, let's might as well make it competitive. I think it wouldn't hard. If it's a standard scoring system like College Nets and Worlds, Texas loses. Okay, fine, but it would be interesting. Like,
very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, fine, but at least it'd be interesting. Again, we're trying to make things more interesting. This conversation is about making things more interesting in the current system, where my conversation is about breaking the current system. I mean, it's not even so much about breaking the current system. It's like the things I want to see are like shorter events. I mean, I'm big on the team thing because I'm an American sports fan, but like, I think if the IPF just made events shorter, only took the top 3 in each weight class in prime time, like, it'd be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, listen, you got 4 people who are on the same fucking page in this call. It's not the 4 of us who need to be convinced. We're talking about the 4 of the most rational people in powerlifting, and that we have to convince everyone else. And my struggle has been, I really don't want to spend time convincing other people that the sport needs to be more watchable. Like, for everyone's critique is it's boring to watch, so let's make it more watchable. Right? It's like you don't like, it doesn't change local meets to make the higher level meets more watchable. Like, I'm not asking for caps on lifter participation at local meets, even at nationals. I'm asking for caps at the highest level. Like, Sheffield only has 24 athletes. You can cap the amount of people who show up to an event. 24, I think, is still too much. I think they should do 16 women, 16 men, two different days.
Mm.
I would love to see that. But yeah, I mean, the ideas are there.
Mm-hmm. We just need more controversy, Sebastian.
Well, I mean, actually, I think we seem to have a lot of that too. It's just over the wrong stuff. Like, what were the controversies in the NFL this year? Like, all the head coaches getting fired. That's what's been happening now. Mm-hmm. Oh, the reffing. Reffing is always controversial in every sport.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's like not unique to powerlifting. Like, you're talking about humans making.
But I think, that's a good point. Going back to like that's a huge part of every sport, and that's going to have to, if this grows, that's also going to have to be part of it. And I think people are going to have to accept that too. Like, if you as the official are going to have to accept that you're going to have to, again, like, you're going to have to take some flack.
So I would argue. Sorry, he made a point about Sheffield losing money. I would actually argue Sheffield doesn't. Like, Sheffield on paper loses money, but I think in brand equity they make that back. So what you got to do is you got to think about it like this: pretend Sheffield is like I don't know who's a big sponsor of the NFL. Budweiser, right?
Yeah.
Sheffield is Budweiser, and they're just running their own NFL game. I mean, and Budweiser spends what, 500 grand per commercial on Sunday Night Football. Like, you gotta think. Like, I've thought a little differently about this. I know we've had conversations about how me and Future have had conversations about the economics of that, but like they do lose a lot of money on paper, but I think they make that back in brand equity. I think it's almost just the right balance for them. I think they probably lose, you know, depending on what they end up paying for everything, they probably lose $300,000-$400,000, but they only need to sell 4,000 pairs of knee sleeves.
Right.
So like they only need to sell, 2,000 belts less. Like, I think they make their money back in the brand equity. I also think they almost guarantee themselves a supply of athletes, which is the real currency. That influencer economy thing is real. So like there's lots of different like ways they can make money. Oh, I mean, I think yeah, I know. We had, so all of the England, all the financials are public. So we looked at all of SBD's financials. Um, yeah, no, we were talking about how insane it is. They're like, imagine like your company's financial information is just available for everyone. Like, so like we can read it on a podcast, which we're about to. I almost feel
Let's
like,
do it. Let's do it. Yeah.
yeah, I just almost feel like bad about it. Because I'm like looking at someone naked or something. Yeah, so these are their full accounts.
Don't be domiciled in the UK. That would be a good start.
Well, so here's what's interesting. So I'm curious what sort of, so their big thing is they manufacture in the UK. That's like their calling card, right? And so my question is why? So like for context, a welder in China makes $3 an hour. In America and the UK, I'm guessing it's like 70 to 80 bucks an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So like it doesn't matter how good you are, you cannot compete with that because the skill gap is not wide enough. In fact, sometimes the skill in China is better because they work harder. So yeah. So I'm gonna scroll down. If you just look up SBD apparel financials, it shows up right there if you want to join along with me. But yeah, this is just publicly available information. Turnover, also known as revenue, if you're not stupid. Revenue in 2024 was $18.6 million. And then in 2025, it went down $2.5 million to $16.1 million. Now, their gross profit did not decline as much. This is probably because they had excess stock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Future. Pioneer assembles everything in the USA. Like the steel does not come from. I'm not grinning. I just think it's like, so the reason, so I'm guessing they get subsidized because if you're for national security, I mean, this is obviously a big talking point. Like, why do we need to reshore manufacturing? Because if there's a war, your auto assembly lines turn into plane assembly lines, right? They turn into tank assembly lines. That's what happens. So SBD, if England gets into a war, stops manufacturing wrist wraps and starts manufacturing winter jackets to go invade Russia or whatever. So like I'm guessing there are subsidies to keep manufacturing in England. So I'm guessing that plays into some of their business model. And it's so interesting that we're actually having this conversation. Like a company is so vital, but plays such a big role in the sport of powerlifting that we're looking at their financials. And it's like we don't like. I'm just reading like a P&L. Like I'm not like there's not more information than their profit and loss. Like you don't get a lot of information from this. But they blamed like global economic conditions for not making as much money, which I think is crazy with a company this small. And you may not think this is a small, but this is a pretty small company.
No, it's a small.
Like,
I mean, come on, how much is an investment bank?
context, a single McDonald's location makes about $8 million a year. So like probably upwards. $8 million was an old figure. They probably make 10 to 12 now. So like a single McDonald's, like some high end McDonald's locations probably make more total revenue than this company does. So this is not a large company. It typically should not be taking losses like this. Like a small company like this should be almost constantly growing. Like, and like who's taking their market share is interesting. I don't think anyone's taking their market share. I think people are just not buying because fewer people are powerlifting. Like it's not. I mean, I'm who else besides powerlifters is buying anything but the belt?
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
That's a huge decline. If that's like losing to like their gross profit did go up, which I'm guessing that means they had inventory on hand. Or not went up, but like didn't decline by as much. So yeah, super interesting. But like typically if your revenue goes down, like it's not like that's red flag. Your profit goes down because you're spending more money on CapEx or whatever. That's fine. But like if my revenue at my gym any year went down, I would be sounding alarms. Oh, Gym Reapers. Gym Reapers is probably 100 to 150, but Gym Reapers is in other verticals. Gym Reapers is in CrossFit, which is in High Rocks. I've actually had a conversation with the owner of Gym Reapers. He didn't want to get involved with the IPF. Thanks. That's awesome. So good. Yeah, so super interesting stuff going on in powerlifting. Very interesting that this company plays such a major role. I obviously keep tabs on it because I try to understand the story. I'm trying to understand what the deal is, what's going on, like what's happening. But they do have, it says profit and loss reserves. They have about $8 million. So like that's like net assets. They have a cash on here.
They should on the balance sheet.
Oh, yeah, no, but I'm trying to find it. Called up share capital. Cash. Oh, no. Cash and bank on hand, 419,000. That's what I thought. I'm like, oh, they're counting the value of their own stock? Yeah, okay. As total, I mean, these are UK financial statements too, so I'm like,
yeah,
it's different than GAAP.
Yeah,
you probably know better than I do because I'm not like my shit. Like my accountant generates these statements, but I have my own internal. I have my own like personal. Yeah, that's what that I guess we have the accountant. Future is an accountant, so we have an accountant in the chat. Yeah, right. No, they yeah. So like, I mean, like it's not terrible, but it's like just like so. Future, this is super interesting because we had a long conversation in a group chat about why these things should not be public. And these things should not be public because literally exactly what's happening right now, like you should be very concerned about the what's happening with basically the premier event in the sport if this is the direction things are going because they don't I don't think Sheffield helps their business as much as like local meets do. I probably do more when I run I run a large local meet business. I have thousands of lifters who come in, and there really aren't that many lifters. Like we had 1,500 lifters come through my meets this year. There's only 95,000 lifters in this. 1.5% of all the lifters are coming through just my facility. Like local meets are more important for selling apparel, which is like obviously the opposite of mine. I've always said that you need to build a big league because it gets people engaged and involved, but you still need someone to run local events for people. I would be putting a lot more stock in the youth level. I'd be doing a lot of different things. I mean, that money could be utilized a little bit. And like they're not, spoiler, I'm not gonna say anything other than this. They're not going to be the presenting sponsor of Powerlifting America anymore. So it's like, you know, I'm curious what's going to happen with that. Like that's a lot of notoriety. I mean, I don't think it changes much with the top athletes. I don't think other companies want to sponsor these athletes. But yeah. Oh, is this what we're gonna be doing tonight? You're gonna be analyzing this.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think I was, but yeah, yeah. Let's do that. That'll be this. Actually, this we can somehow work this into a further discussion of Sheffield next week.
Well, yeah, no. So I think so. He just said hot take Sheffield does kneeling. Yeah, right. We should do a Sheffield preview. Hey, future, you got to come on next week, Wednesday night. He'd be great. He's great. He actually knows. He actually follows the powerlifting.
I'm not getting any. Why am I not getting?
You're not getting any comments?
No.
I'd probably get them first, and then it's going to be delayed.
I haven't seen any new ones for like 45 minutes. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, okay. He said hot take Sheffield does nearly nothing with powerlifting other than give it a few pennies top. I disagree just because of the amount of social media content they generate off of it. Yeah, I think it does do. I think it also. I mean, it's good to have some Super Bowl for people to strive through. I don't listen. I'm a hater, but like I'm a realistic hater. Like I know what. I mean, think about what it's done for pops in America. Like no one would be in pops in America without Sheffield. So like
huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I was Sebastian. On that note, maybe let's table for next week.
It's been an hour and a half. Yeah, that's a perfect time.
So next week we'll do Sheffield. Let's talk a little bit more about SBD, and but I think Sheffield will probably be enough for.
Yeah. I mean, no. Listen, as long as they keep doing. I mean, I'm again super interested. We'll talk about their bigger venue next year.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They're moving. Yeah.
This year it'll be in November. So like, I'm curious. That's going to give us a glimpse into the actual growth of powerlifting. Like if they sell 5,000 tickets to that event, like then we're going to know what trajectory the top level of powerlifting is going for. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm MBG Hobby. That was Bill. This was Listening for Commands. Thank you to the people who joined us and those who will be watching, listening later. And we will see you next week.
There you go. See you then, everybody.
There you go.